Great. Thanks for being here, folks. Shortly, we'll be hearing from our SEMA Chief Tom Sampson, Mayor Naheed Nenshi, and Kyle Ripley, our Director of Parks. They're just making their way to the podium now. A reminder, please press *1 if you want to get queued into the questions. And as soon as the spokespeople arrive, we'll start the press conference.
Mike's up.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's Friday afternoon at 2 p.m., and we do have some news for you today. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us, and a special thank you to everyone in our community who has done such a terrific job of maintaining the right kinds of behaviors that lead us to clean hands, clear heads, and open hearts. A self serving thing, I had a wonderful opportunity this afternoon to do a Facebook Live community conversation. That's available on my Facebook page if you'd like to look at it after the fact. But we were able to answer a lot of common questions that people have. Things are moving fast, as you know, and I'd like to acknowledge the news this morning from Prime Minister Trudeau about the improved financial supports for small and medium-sized business. This has certainly been a very serious concern for all of us in terms of helping businesses think about how they can remain going concerns during this time, how they can get themselves ready to be able to reopen quickly when we're at the other end of this. So thank you for that. We're analyzing that right now, and we'll continue to provide information to businesses in Calgary as we understand that better. This is a very serious challenge and one that we are working on a lot. I just want to also say at the outset here that I know that this is a very worrisome time for a lot of people. I know that many of us are worried or staying up at night, don't really know what the next steps are, maybe are a little bit frightened, and that's all okay. That's normal. That's human. None of us have been through this before, and we are using our best judgment to make decisions as we move along today. But ultimately, as we always do, we are going to get through this the way we always get through things, and that is together. And we really are continuing to look after one another. Now, Chief Tom Sampson, the chief of SEMA, is here with me. I see him sneaking away. No, he's coming back, and I'm going to turn it over to him because he has 2 new orders that he would like to read to you, and then I will come back, talk a little bit, and then we'll take questions. Chief Sampson?
Thanks, Your Worship. It's been 2 weeks since we announced the state of local emergency. Yesterday, we extended the state of local emergency to continue to support our efforts and to stop the spread of COVID-19. Phone call right in the middle of that. I'd like to read for you the first order, if I could, please. And that is, whereas a state of local emergency has been declared in the City of Calgary on March 15, 2020 to address the COVID-19 pandemic, and whereas the Local Emergency Committee authorized the Director of Emergency Management Agency to exercise powers and functions of the committee for the duration of the state of local emergency, including the authority to issue orders pursuant to Section 24 of the Act. So it's hereby ordered, effective 1800 hours, March 27th, 2020, that's today, personal services businesses providing services related to personal care as defined in the Business License Bylaw 32M98, excluding retail sales, shall be closed. Body rub businesses providing services related to body rub practitioners, body rub centers, and body offices, all as defined in the Body Rub License Bylaw 53M2012, and non-emergency and non-critical health services included but not limited to physiotherapy, massage businesses providing services related to massage practitioners, massage centers, and massage offices, all as defined in Massage License Bylaw 52M2012, are hereby closed. These businesses cannot maintain the physical distance required, and at this time, it's the actions we have to take to reduce the spread of COVID-19. We sincerely recognize the impact that this will have on the businesses in the community, and we don't take this decision at all lightly. Many of these businesses have already reached out and advised that they could not guarantee the safety of their staff and customers, and they've made the difficult decision to close themselves. As far as businesses that are allowed to remain open, some bars, with the approval of the AGLC, have chosen to convert their licensing to full meal service. There's a process for that through the ALGC. We've made also some changes to the way we handle our outdoor spaces. And effective today, we're ordering the closure of playgrounds and ending all organized sports due to the COVID-19 outbreak. Skate parks have now been closed. And I'll just take a moment to read you that order specifically. It's hereby ordered that effective 1800 hours, March 27th, all of the following facilities, whether located in city parks or in other city property or on private property, are hereby closed. Playgrounds and skate parks. Effective 1800 hours today, March 27th, the following activities are prohibited on sports fields, play fields, and courts, whether located in the City of Calgary or other city property or on private property. The playing of organized and team sports, including, but not limited to, football, basketball, pickleball, baseball, baseball, cricket, lacrosse, soccer, tennis, field hockey, ultimate frisbee, and volleyball. Folks, what I want to help you understand is while those activities have been closed on those fields, that doesn't mean people can't go out and walk on those fields. So it's the activities that are reduced, the fields remain open. We recognize that this is disappointing to many and that this spring weather, it's going to be a lovely weekend, has many Calgarians wanting to go out and take in their part in their typical activities. Unfortunately, this is not a typical time. Things are different, and so we must act differently. City outdoor parks and pathways and green spaces will remain open this weekend, as long as users try and maintain that 2-meter physical distancing. So it's about that wide, right? There will be signage in high-use areas like Sue Higgins Off-Leash Park that ask users to maintain physical distance of at least 2 meters. This is important. People are feeling quite stressed right now. They want to get outside for a walk, but they want their distancing at the same time. And I think we all just need to respect each other in that regard. Park staff will be monitoring city parks and reporting back on compliance. We'll be watching and reminding congregated people to back up and give each other some space. We have 8,000 hectares of parks in the city of Calgary, and some of them are just gorgeous. I encourage you to try and explore the places less traveled in our city. 2 meters of distance would be or should be very easy to maintain if we're not all going to the same park. Folks, these orders are not because these orders, I shouldn't read this. These orders are not because we're trying to be difficult. These orders are because people aren't getting it right now. There's a few of you that are just bunching up regardless of what we say, and we need you to do the right thing, and I need to be very clear about that. It's going to be a beautiful weekend, and we don't want to kill the buzz of a gorgeous spring day, so go out, but spread out. I'd also like to speak directly to retailers. Please be kind to your patrons during this time. Keep your prices reasonable and be responsible in that regard. You've done a great job so far, but please don't make us fix prices. That would be very onerous. We have many families out there that are hurting financially right now. We don't want them to worry about having to purchase those necessary items, but we will step in if it's required. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Chief Sampson. Before I go into a few more comments, I will answer the question that I know is the top of mind for everyone watching today. The shirt comes from the brilliant Calgary educator and illustrator Alison Van Rosendahl. No, you cannot buy one anymore because bad people ripped off her design. Boo, bad people. But she did manage to raise over $20,000 for food banks across Alberta in selling this. So thank you, Alison, for doing that. I will tell you that I got in big trouble when I walked into the Emergency Operations Center today, and I want to fix that right now. Illustrators and artists out there, what I really need is a What Would Tom Sampson Do t-shirt. So I'll leave that out to the community today. I already have mugs that say What Would Nenshi Do? And in fact, the illustrator on that sent me a mug, which I love, which I use, that says, What Would I Do? Anyway, before I get into the elements of what we're talking about here, I just want to say thank you again to Calgarians for showing such incredible solidarity. When every instinct that you'd think we would have would say that we're weakened, we're under threat, we're less than we were, you've shown day in and day out that we are greater together, that we are getting through this as we always get through this together. And I have never been more proud to be your mayor. So Chief Sampson has laid out some new rules today that a number of businesses are ordered closed. I will tell you as well that it is not at all unlikely that we will see further orders from the Alberta government today, and we will make sure that we are aligned today or in future days, and we will always make sure that our orders are aligned with what the Alberta government is moving forward on. But it was very clear to us that we needed to act on these types of personal care businesses. It wasn't just because I wanted to make Tom Sampson say body rub practitioner in a formal order. Yes, that's icky, and it's icky on purpose, by the way. But that we really feel that these personal care businesses, whether you're talking about tattoo parlors or spas or estheticians or threading and waxing services and so on, it's just not possible to stay safe with that kind of personal contact, including hairstyling as well. So most of those businesses have in fact closed, but we've heard from a number of them. Can you just issue the order so it's clear to us what we can do? And so we were able to do that today. It really is about keeping people safe. And as you can tell, my hair is already starting to get shaggy, so you'll see that get much worse, but it is the right thing to do. Tom is particularly concerned about his hair right now as well. The other thing, of course, is what you heard about. We've already closed playgrounds and play structures some time ago. Today's order adds skate parks, which frankly we just missed when we closed the playgrounds and play structures. Too much touch. But also the important thing here is things like basketball courts and tennis courts, pickleball, which I hear is a thing, as well as fields that are used for playing soccer, ultimate, and other sports, cricket. We're not closing the fields. We want to leave those open so that kids can ride their bikes on the basketball courts if they want and stuff like that. But we're asking for no more team sports. You can't do physical separation. You can't have an adult llama size between you. And so, and in particularly tough sports like ultimate, you're going to be touching one another. None of that. And so we really are asking people that. And this is really important. I want to mention this again, which is we are now going to our 6th false spring of the season, and the weather this weekend is expected to be beautiful. And we know people want to get out. And we're following the good advice of Dr. Hinshaw and other public health experts that say it's important for your mental health and your physical health to get some fresh air, to get some sunshine, to get a little bit of exercise. But you have to be smart about it. You have to follow some very basic guidelines. The first is try to stay close to your neighborhood, to your home. If you can, walk on the sidewalks in your neighborhood, go to your local parks. Don't use the playgrounds. But don't try, if you can, not to drive to walk. In fact, I should pass on a message from my friend John Barrowman, the mayor of Canmore, who says, please don't stop in Canmore. We love you, but don't stop in Canmore. They're dealing with their own issues. They don't need a bunch of outsiders coming into their town at this time. And so you can go outside. It's a natural practice. It's an encouraged practice. But as I say, some basic guidelines. Stay close to home. Maintain physical distance, 6 feet or 2 meters between you and other people. If that means you've got to cross the street, cross the street. If that means you have to stagger between your neighbors, stagger. But really work hard on maintaining that business. Don't touch anything while you're out and about. When you come home, wash your hands, change your clothes. Real basic guidelines that will allow us to continue for people to be able to get out and about. And if you do want to drive out to the mountains, if you want to drive to walk, if you see the parking lot is full, go to the next place. If you see the pathways are crowded, consider going somewhere else. This is a relatively small sacrifice, but this is important for us to do in order to keep everyone safe. The most common question I get these days is, why are we not in full lockdown? Why don't you do a complete quarantine? And what you kind of need to know is we are. As far as most of us are concerned, we actually are. We're working from home or unfortunately not working. We're staying home as much as we can. And the only things that are different than this in a complete lockdown that you've seen in other places is we are allowing people to go outside and get some fresh air. And we have some offices and some businesses that remain open as long as they're following the Ministry of Health guidelines. Beyond that, it's very close to what you're seeing in other parts of the world. And we're being very reasonable and thoughtful and data driven about this in terms of the interventions that we believe actually will make a difference in flattening the curve. But we are requiring people to be very, very responsible. Ultimately, the government won't save you from this virus. You will save yourself from this virus. And that personal responsibility and those personal actions that we are taking are incredibly important. I also want to say that the vast, vast majority of people are following the orders. The vast, vast majority of people are isolating when they come home from travel for 14 days. Do not go to the grocery store. Do not pass go. Go straight home and isolate for those 14 days. But there are a small minority of people who aren't. And I want to say to those people 2 things. Number 1, you're not invincible. Even if you're feeling well, even if you're healthy and fit, you are not invincible. I guarantee you that you are not as fit as Idris Elba, and he's got the coronavirus. You are not as fit as the South African gold medalist swimmer who revealed this week that he is very ill with the coronavirus. You are not invincible. Number 2, even if you are invincible, everybody around you is not. You can pass on the virus even if you're not feeling any symptoms or if you're in the very early stages of symptoms. That means you are your elderly next door neighbor. And how would you feel if your elderly neighbor got it because you thought you were invincible? So it's really, really important. I've said it before and I'll say it again. When we talk about clean hands, clear heads, open hearts, Don't act like somebody who's trying to prevent getting sick. Act like somebody who already has the virus and doesn't want to spread it to others. Act like every single person in your circle, every single person you come into contact with is your 90-year-old grandmother. That's how we flatten the curve, and that's how we move forward on all of this work, and we do so together. Remember, the sacrifice you're being asked to make is a small one, but it's critical. Stay home if you can. Be kind to everyone. Together we'll save lives. So we'll take questions now. Tom's here. We also have our Director of Calgary Parks, Kyle Ripley, here if there are any questions for him. So we're going to go to the phones now.
Thank you very much. The first question is from Madeline Smith, the Calgary Herald. Your line is open. Please go ahead.
Hey there, folks. For the mayor and maybe as well as Tom Sampson, can you give an update on the process of getting people living in homeless shelters into alternate housing, and has anything changed with the plan to put people in hotel rooms?
Yes, thanks very much, Madeline. So let's start with the good news. The good news comes from In From the Cold, which is the family shelter in Calgary, who have successfully moved the families living in that shelter into alternative accommodations, many of them into their own apartments. That is a huge, huge, great thing. We also know that other shelters in the city, such as Alpha House and the Drop-In Center, have successfully moved some portion of their clients into hotel rooms. We are not proceeding with more hotel rooms at this time. I still think that's the right thing to do, and we'll continue to monitor the situation very carefully. We are moving into more of an overflow shelter situation where we will be able to accommodate people with physical distance between them. This hybrid model will allow us to see what is more effective. I don't mind saying I'm still a bit nervous about the congregated facilities and disease transmission, but certainly that is the model that is being used in most other cities, including in Edmonton. So we are going to monitor that very, very carefully and take all Ministry of Health precautions.
Can you specify how many people have been moved into hotel rooms at this time, and why more aren't being pursued?
You know, Madeline, sorry, we don't have the exact number. I can tell you that it's certainly in the hundreds. I just don't have a real number for you. I can say as well that certainly cost has been a factor, but ultimately this is a decision of the provincial government, not a decision of the city.
Operator, next question, please.
Yes, the next question is from Tracy Nagai of Global News. Please go ahead.
Hi there. I have two questions. The first one, we can talk about the pathways and what the city might be doing in order to increase social distancing on those pathways with more people headed outside.
Thanks. The number one thing, Tracy, is asking people stay away from the crowded pathways. Stay away from the places where you know others will congregate so that we can increase social distance. When you get to the pathways, we will, on a reactive basis, if we find that the paths are really crowded, we will open up more space for walkers. But ultimately, the number one thing is you should try and stay away from those crowded places.
Is there any opportunity, I know that perhaps there's discussions about these pop-up pathways or that sort of thing?
Yeah, we will, as I said, we'll ensure that space is available. What I don't want is I don't want people to use that as an invitation to go to places that are already crowded. And so we're really doing it much more on a reactive basis rather than saying, hey, everybody, the 16th Avenue North is open for a street party. It's going to be much more along the lines of just making sure that if we need to use roadway space so that people have room, we will do so.
Okay. And my second question is in regards to the number of layoffs that we've been seeing. The Calgary Airport announcing that it laid off about 100 people, the Airport Authority. And I'm just wondering, in the city itself, city employees, have there been layoffs or are there going to be?
You know, that's a really important question. And the city is looking at a kind of 4 key principles as we're making decisions as an organization. Because remember, we are the second largest employer in the city, in addition to being your local government. We need to flatten the curve. We need to be a thoughtful, considerate, role modeling employer. We need to look after our financials, and we need to be responsible ultimately to providing essential services for citizens. So every decision we make is made in that context. Like every other employer in the city, we also have people self-isolating. We also have people who um, may have contracted the disease, therefore causing their workmates to self-isolate. So managing the level of services that we have with the staff we have is critical. We're in conversations with our colleagues who work at the city about maybe relaxing some of our rules around redeployment, for example, so we can get people where they need. However, there are city employees, particularly part-time, casual, and on-call employees, in areas like our rec centers and facilities that we've closed, who really do find themselves with no work. So in cases like that, as we move forward, should we make decisions, we will make so in a way that makes sure that people get what is allotted to them, either by contract or through in the Employment Standards Act. But ultimately, we won't be making those announcements through the media until we make those announcements to our colleagues who work for the city. Anything I missed there, Tom?
Okay.
Operator, next question, please.
Yes, thank you. The next question is from Kevin Nimick of CTV Calgary. Please go ahead.
Hi, Mayor. I got to be honest with you, the phone line dropped out there for about a minute, so you might have answered my question already. But
I'm sure whatever I said was brilliant and you missed it.
Oh, I'm sure it was. Now, I'm wondering about tax reliefs for businesses,
Yes.
Specifically the ones that have been ordered to close as a result of the orders introduced today. Is anything being done to support these businesses that are really in a bad place?
Yeah, very much so. We can start with the work that the other orders of government are doing. Today, the Prime Minister announced some really substantial financial aid for small and medium-sized businesses that find themselves in this position, including wage supplements so that they can keep people working. And there are, of course, benefits to individuals. So citizens who are in isolation because they are ill or caring for someone who is ill are eligible today for one-time funding from the province. And a much broader group of people who've lost work, including self-employed people and those not normally eligible for employment insurance, will be eligible for the federal government's new emergency care benefit, which will start flowing in early April. Now, in terms of other things for business, as you know, the federal taxes have been deferred. You don't have to pay them at the end of April. Provincial corporate tax has also been deferred. The province has also deferred the provincial portion of the non-residential property tax for at least 6 months. And for that means that you'll get a smaller bill in June for those who pay once a year. And for those that pay on a monthly basis, the provincial portion has already been removed from the amount that will be direct deposited from your bank account starting on April 1. That's already happened. As for the city, we would love to be able to do more to defer or even waive or forgive part of our residential and non-residential property taxes. What we have been able to do is we are deferring the utility bills, the city utility bills, that's your water, wastewater, drainage, waste, recycling, and composting bills. You can pay all, a portion, or none of your bill in April, May, and June without penalty or interest, and whatever's owing will be rolled into your last bills for the year. The province has announced a similar deal with gas and electrical companies. The details are still being ironed out, but you can talk to your provider about those. So finally, getting to the heart of your question on the city property taxes, we would love to be able to do more. And we're working hard with business stakeholders, with the province, and with the federal government on that. The challenge we have is twofold. Number one is we don't have access to the same kind of cash, short-term debt, cash flow things that the other orders of government do at this time. And the commercial paper market, for those who know what's going on in the world of finance, is really dried up. It's hard to get that funding. And we got to make payroll. And the people that we have to pay are police officers, firefighters, 911, people who are keeping the water system safe, and so on. And so we have to make sure that we're liquid as an organization, and we don't have the ability to get cash from other sources as much as the other orders of government do at this time. The other more critical thing is that the city can't run a deficit. So unlike the other orders of government, we have to balance our books on December 31st by law. So anything we do has to be made up before the end of the year. And what I'm really hesitant of is whacking people with a giant bill in December when you've got your Christmas bills and other things to worry about, because that doesn't really help all that much. It'll help in the short term, but not in the long term. And if that's all we can do, we will do that. We will make that kind of deferral. But we're working hard with the province and the federal government to try and do better than that. And that will require help from the province and the federal government, either in legislative change or in a backstop, a financial backstop from those governments. And look, they've been great to work with, both the province and the government of Canada. And we're hopeful we'll be able to come up with a good solution. But I want to make sure we come up with the right solution that doesn't cause trouble in the future, instead of a fast solution that could put people in trouble later.
And if I could just ask a follow-up question.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked to several restaurants, independent restaurants, who are extremely concerned because they can't claim the business interruption portion of their insurance that they pay for, simply because no level of government has determined that non-essential businesses like restaurants have to close. Can you explain why restaurants are still open?
Yes, I can. We've had that question from a lot of different services. It's not entirely clear, if the insurance companies will actually pay out that business interruption insurance, given the nature of the pandemic. I am looking at insurance companies right now and saying, be generous and be thoughtful and think about the long term. All of that said, we are working with the province as best we can on making sure that people at least have a leg to stand on with their insurance companies. Ultimately, the decision to close restaurants is not a decision we can make at the city. It has to be something that is done in coordination with the province of Alberta. And ultimately, we are finding that the pickup and delivery part is actually really important. A lot of people are really relying on that now, and I know of at least one, I'm sure there's many more local restaurants who let their staff go and then had to bring a bunch back because their pickup and delivery business was doing so well. And I'm not sure what the relationship of that will be with insurance, but ultimately I know that that issue is very much on the mind of the province, and we're working with them on moving forward on that.
Operator, next question, please.
Next question.
Thank you. The next question is from Madeline Smith at the Calgary Herald. Please go ahead.
Wait, haven't we heard from you already? Go ahead, Madeline.
Yeah, but I get more than one question. I just wanted to know if the city's role has been worked out in terms of enforcement, given that this week the federal government made some sort of stricter rules about what people can and cannot do. And I think the province did as well. So is there clarity on what city bylaw officers or potentially police will have to do in this circumstance?
I think we have more clarity since the province made an announcement just recently. And they said that our sort of first level of bylaw officers could enforce the provisions of the Health Act. So that's a good thing. The challenge is that we only have 7 of those officers in our bylaw services. And so what we're talking about certainly right now is whether some of our transit peace officers can come across to provide assistance to our bylaw officers. But those are steps in the early stage. But we also know that our Calgary Police Service has the capacity to do that. But that's not what it's about right now. Our first step is about trying to ensure that businesses are aware of the changes that have occurred and that they're able to adjust their practice as much as possible in order to stay compliant. We think there's a social imperative right now. And the social imperative is that we stop the spread of COVID as much as possible. It's in our individual best interest. It's in your customer's best interest. It's in your grandmother's best interest. And so we just need to do that. And so we're working on the education first, and we hope that we don't need to be more forceful than that.
Next question.
There are no further questions in the queue at this time.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, everybody. As is my custom, I want to end with a bunch of thank yous at the end of the week here. So first of all, I always forget to thank my colleagues on Calgary City Council. They have been terrific through all of this, looking after the people in their communities and the businesses in their communities, as well as helping keep this giant ship called the City of Calgary on keel. We are very well served by our City Council, and so thank you all for doing that. I want to thank all my colleagues at the City of Calgary for their extraordinary work delivering these services that they do every day. I want to thank our healthcare workers who have been, even though we feel like we're the calm before the storm, just think about the work it's taking to make sure hospital beds are clear and ready and open. Think about the work it's taking for all the folks who are working the assessment clinic. I got to fulfill every Canadian's fantasy, not once but twice this week, because as I was out occasionally, I managed to go into 2 different Tim Hortons and say, I would like the donuts, please. And when they looked at me and said, what do you mean? I said, no, the donuts, all of them. I want all your donuts. And I was able to deliver those to the folks working so hard in the assessment clinics. And thank you to them for doing that. I also want to remind people of something that I have really been struck by these last few days. In our economy, in normal days, we lionize people in the knowledge economy. We lionize people with titles reflecting jobs that I'm not quite sure what they are: investment banker, mergers and acquisition lawyer, and things like that, management consultant. Okay, I was one of those, so I do know what those are, sort of. But what we've really learned over the last little while is the people who make the economy work are the people who work in the warehouses, are the people who work in the food distribution centers, are the people who are driving the trucks, are the people who work in the grocery stores and the pharmacies. They are those great unheralded heroes that sometimes we don't see because they're in our offices after we go home, the cleaners. And what would we do without those folks? What would we do without those folks that sometimes we don't really talk to or notice as we go about our daily lives? And so today, I want to say a special thank you to everyone, even though you're worried, even though your kids are at home because the schools are closed, even though your shifts are hard, even though you're doing overtime, even though sometimes your patrons may not be very nice to you because they're scared as well. I want to say thank you to all of you. You're heroes. You're heroes of our community. You're heroes of our economy. And I want to encourage everyone. Say thank you to cleaners. Say thank you to grocery store workers. Say thank you to truck and delivery drivers, because ultimately they're the ones we are relying on today more than anyone else. Have a great weekend. Enjoy Sixth Fall Spring. Clean hearts, clear heads. One of these days I'll get my own mantra right. Clean hands, clear heads, open hearts. And I want everybody to remember, stay home, be kind, save lives. Thank you all.
Thank you, folks. That concludes the media availability.
Nice job.